Today I'm going to take you through the defensive driving technique for successfully managing a test in Motherwell. This testing station has got quite a few different routes, and we're going to cover some of the roads, so this might not be the exact route that you do in your test, but it will include a lot of the roads. So let's start here. Exiting the main gate is quite tricky because it is a serious hill start. So you need to bring the car to a stop, pull your handbrake up firmly, go to first gear. Make sure you do your clutch control properly. Be patient with the cars coming from left and right because it's quite a busy road and the drivers won't stop for you. Okay, once you see a gap, you crawl forward slowly in first gear using your accelerator. Keep your foot on the clutch for control. Take left and right. If it's clear, accelerate gently so you don't have a round in the middle of the road. Second gear. At the traffic circle, indicate to the right. Okay, there we go. It's the perfect example of how people drive here. Okay, we're going to enter in second gear. Make sure you steer nicely so you don't touch any of the lines. Over the speed hump in second gear. Keep left here at your in your lane. Okay, go up to third gear. Keep an eye on your speed. We want to not drive too slow, so we're aiming for 50 kilometers per hour here. You can go to fourth when it's nice and straight like this, but otherwise third gear will usually be the best. Keep checking your mirrors. We've got a lot of four-way stops here. We need to manage the vehicles that are coming from behind us because they have a tendency not to stop. So what we want to do there is to start braking early but gently. You just want to light up your brake lights to give a clear message to that person coming from behind. Okay, at this intersection we're heading left. So we check our mirrors, blind spot left, indicate, brake nice and gently. Keep an eye on your mirror. I'm clear at the moment, there's no one behind me. Aim for the line and stop. Immediately pull up your handbrake, check to see what the sequence is. We're going next. So full 360 observation, blind spot left and turn. Stay in first until your steering straightens, then into second gear. And then you can just accelerate nice and gently. Third gear. Keep nice steady acceleration. Let the speed come up naturally on its own. Okay, I'm gonna go to fourth. Got a nice long run to the stop. Okay, now I'm about 200 meters from the stop and I've got a vehicle behind me and I can see it's a Jigeleza. So as I start to indicate here, I'm going to put my foot gently on the brakes just to light up the rear lights. Let the car slowly slow down. Just check that the guy is going to stop, clutch in, handbrake up into first gear, to my observations, and go. Blind spot light. Make sure you don't touch the solid line here on your right hand side. And then just keep accelerating nice and progressively into third gear. Look out for vehicles overtaking here, like you can see this taxi. It's overtaking, but there's also another one standing here. So very tricky place to drive, and you really have to be quite confident and always be prepared to do your emergency stops. Check the roads coming in on the left and right. Okay, there's a speed hump up ahead of us, so I'm gonna ease off the accelerator. Don't brake too early. It's like in situations like now, the car actually slows down itself. Go to second gear, release the clutch before the speed hump, and then just gently accelerate. Check your mirrors into third gear. Always look out for pedestrians and be prepared to stop when they cross at an actual pedestrian crossing. If they're not crossing at a pedestrian crossing like here, you just hoot, make sure you get their attention. Okay, check all the roads coming into our lane here. Okay, check the road on the right. There's another car overtaking in front of us. check the road on the left. There's a pedestrian crossing. Again, the thing for dealing with pedestrian crossings is to make sure that you are prepared to stop if someone is showing signs of crossing there. Okay, we're turning right here, so check my mirrors over the right shoulder. Go to second gear because this is not a stop. Gently on the brakes, blind spot right, make sure no one's overtaking. Just gently get your car into this lane. Okay, now you can accelerate. This is a long stretch here, so you can accelerate all the way to 4th and then just maintain a nice steady speed there between 50 and 55. Whenever your speed limit is 60, you want to make sure you stay well under that, so between 50 and 55. There's no need for you to try and put the needle right on the 60 because you can get caught out quite easily. Okay, into 5th gear. We've got a long run. We've got a stop coming up ahead, so I'm looking in my mirror. Slowly coming off the accelerator and now start the braking. Start gently at first and then right at the end, as you push your clutch in, then you can squeeze your brakes and stop before the line. And then handbrake up into 1st gear. Clutch control, it is our turn to go. Check left, check right, and into 2nd gear. Now we've got a vehicle in front of us, so our goal now is to manage our speed as well as the following distance. And yeah, it's perfect at the moment. We're looking for 5 to 7 seconds. There's a vehicle that's either driving slow or stationary on the left. Check your blind spot as you move over towards the right. If you feel like you can't make it in the space and you need to cross over into the other lane, then make sure you do your observations and indicate to the right as if you were doing a lane change. And then check your blind spot again before you cross the dotted line. It's a lot of points if you don't do that. So just make sure if you're going to touch that dotted line, you're going to indicate. Okay, the traffic circle, we're turning right. So do your observations, blind spot right. Go into 2nd gear. Look to see on the right hand side what the traffic looks like, because now I can already tell there are no vehicles, so I know I'm not going to stop. So now I focus on my gentle acceleration here and steering, and then as I straighten I can push the accelerator into 3rd gear. Okay, it's 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. It's the 21st of the month. So month end, you know, is usually quite busy at this time in Motherwell. So you want to make sure you don't do a Friday afternoon at month end. That's really going to suck. So anytime between 10 a.m. and 2 in the afternoon, I would say, is quite a good time to test here, Monday to Thursday, preferably mid-month. Yeah, so what to do month end. Okay, let's check all the roads coming into us. Okay, we've got a zebra crossing up ahead. There are no pedestrians on the pavement, so we can proceed. There's a pedestrian there, but she's quite far from the road. Okay, check the road on the right. Okay, we've got a Jigeleza now in front of us. All these Corolla, Toyota Conquest and Mazda 323s, they work here as taxis, so the Jigelezas, they stop at any time, and real lights don't work, so often you'll just see the gap closing fast and the car just stopping in front of you. To manage that, you need to make sure you keep a nice following distance between you and the vehicle in front of you at all times, and look out for signs. You know, if there's a pedestrian standing on the side of the road and they put their arm up to hail the taxi down, obviously, you know, it's going to stop. So you must be prepared to stop, and your first reaction should be to stop at a nice safe distance behind them as if you were at a robot, and just be patient, because you know they're gonna move off as soon as the person gets off or gets on. If you are given the instruction to overtake them, then you need to do your observations and go over into the next lane. However, you shouldn't do that if the next lane is divided by a solid line. So if there's a solid line, you're basically just going to sit there and wait unless the car in front of you is broken down or there's no one in it. Okay, there's a dog here on the left. I'm not going to hoot because that can sometimes give them a fright and cause them to turn right into the road. So hopefully we'll come across a couple of taxis that do stop in our lane, and then I can demonstrate how to deal with it in those situations. Like here, there's a pedestrian standing in the bus stop here, and to me she looks like she's waiting for a taxi. So if there was a taxi in front of us, then you would be quite cautious and make sure you're managing your distance. Okay, remember to keep checking all the side roads that are coming into our road. Keep a nice following distance. Okay, the car in front of me is quite slow, so we're doing 30 kilometers per hour now. I'm in third gear. Just pushing my accelerator nicely to manage that distance. Keep checking yourself, count to see how far you are. So the way to count your following distance is when the vehicle in front of you passes a fixed point, you count. So I'm going to count now when it passes the pedestrian that's standing there. Let's see how far we are. Okay, so and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So that's about 4 seconds there, which is fine at 30 kilometers per hour. Okay, we're turning left here into this main road. It's a 4-way stop, but you can see the cars are quite reluctant to stop. You see them all coming across here. Okay, so do your observations, get your clutch control done, and turn in. You need to be a bit assertive. When it's your turn, you need to go. On this street here, they like to do a lane change from the left to the right lane. Okay, so we're gonna do that now. Just remember, if you've got a solid line, please don't cross over. Okay, so I'm gonna observe, mirror, blind spot right, indicate, check my blind spot again, go into the next lane, check the blind spot again, go into the next lane, and now I get down to second gear for this turn. Don't touch the solid line. Check the road on the left, crawl slowly to wait for this vehicle in front of us. This is a right turn. I'm in first gear. Bring up the clutch, accelerate nicely into second, into third. There's a pedestrian crossing in front of us. There are no pedestrians on the pavement, so I'm happy to keep accelerating there into fourth. Then I can see up ahead here we've got a speed hump, so ease off the accelerator, check the rear view mirror, brake gently into second gear, keep braking, release the clutch slowly while you're braking, and then get back on the accelerator softly. Over the hump, the pedestrian has stopped there. Okay, check the left road, stay in second, check your mirror, over the hump, accelerate into third gear. It's quite windy today, so what we want to do now is look out for any branches, loose buckets and things like that, things that will come rolling into the road, and you get sometimes cardboard boxes that will come rolling into the road. Don't overreact for things like that. It's fine if you just ease off your accelerator to try and let it pass, but really don't overreact. You don't have to do an emergency braking for a piece of cardboard or to swerve. Okay, on this road here, you want to keep your speed nice and slow at about 40. And you'll see now we've got a solid line on the right hand side, and there's a jigaleza that's stopped here. Okay, now I can see already there's no driver in this vehicle, but for the purpose of the test, I'm going to stop and show you what you should be doing. You need to stop like here, pull up your handbrake into first gear, put to see if it moves. If it doesn't, do your clutch control, observe, and then cross over. Obviously, let the examiner know that you're going to do that, because you are aware there's a solid line, but we need to keep moving, right? So it's important to stop if there's a solid line. Then in this traffic circle here, you need to, let's get into first gear so we can crawl nicely over these humps. Okay. First gear will just give you a little bit more flexibility and control, so you are able to stop if there's pedestrians on those pedestrian crossings. Okay, so this traffic circle coming up here is probably one of the trickiest places you'll ever drive if you are doing a road test. Sometimes they come this way, sometimes they don't, and if they happen to do it in your test, you need to know how to deal with it. Okay, I'm in third gear, and as I come towards this big tree now here, and they tell you at the traffic circle you're turning right, you start braking, stay on the brakes, and then as you get to the zebra crossing, you're going to first gear, and just release your clutch slowly and stay on it. Don't let go completely, because now we want to crawl forward. I'm literally doing 2 kilometers per hour here. Traffic circle is clear, and I turn. And normally what will happen then is a taxi will stop actually right in the middle of the traffic circle, in which case you need to bring the car to a complete stop, pull your handbrake up, and wait for that vehicle to move off. And that's where it gets tricky, because the traffic circle is at an incline, so when you move off, you need to make sure you do your clutch control properly. And that's why we're in first gear there. Okay, keep checking the roads left and right. Accelerate, be patient, yeah? You don't want to drive too fast. So just keep pushing the accelerator nice and gently. Alright, so we're about halfway done with the route now. And it does get a bit easier from here on. Okay, at this intersection, indicate to the right. Start braking. Remember to check your mirrors, and if you've got a taxi, brake nice and softly so they can see you're going to stop. Yeah, look at this one in front of us. Didn't even acknowledge the stop sign there. Okay, this is a nice long clear road in front of us, so you can accelerate up to 55. In fourth gear, and then just hold it nice and steady there. Make sure you keep to the left of your lane, keep checking your mirrors, check your speed every couple of seconds, and just scan the road ahead of you from left to right. Make sure nothing's going to surprise you. At the next intersection, it's a T-junction, we're turning left, so observe, mirror, mirror, blind spot to the left, indicate to the left. Don't brake too early because your speed is quite low already. Now you can start to brake, check your rear view mirrors, there's no one there. And then do a slight turn to the right, to the left just before you stop. Check on your right, check on your left, it's clear. Okay, observe, blind spot left. Turn, be careful not to touch the solid line on the right hand side. Accelerate nice and smoothly. And then if you do come around this route and it's clear, they might ask you to do an emergency stop here. First we deal with this pothole, just put your left tire to the left of the pothole. And then if they ask you to do an emergency stop, just brake. Clutch and brake at the same time, nice and firmly, bring the car to a solid stop. Okay, and then be careful not to let go of the brakes before you pull up your handbrake. And then do your observations and off we go. When you do the emergency stop, it's important that you brake firmly, but not so hard that you lock the tires in a vehicle without ABS. And also important that you start with the brakes, because you want to brake as quickly and as hard as possible, and then you can push your clutch in once you've got your right foot on the brakes. Okay, this car is turning, so we're going to turn left here, into second gear, into third. In the afternoons, these roads will be quite busy with school kids, because there's a few schools around here. So I'm braking for the speed hump, which is also a zebra crossing, but there's no pedestrians here. Here's another example now of a taxi that has stopped in front of us, and I can't see ahead of him. So I'm going to stop here and wait for him to move, okay, and then we can pull off. So don't feel under pressure to force an overtake. Okay, check to the left. Check to the left. There's a vehicle up there in front of us. It's got its hazard lights on and it's reversing. So I don't know if it's going to keep reversing. So I'm braking now. Give it a nice long distance here. I'm waiting for the oncoming vehicle before I can overtake. I'm in first gear. I'm not stopping. I'm doing a slow crawl forward. Observe, indicate to the right, and now accelerate to get around him. Second gear. Get back into your lane. And then into third gear. Okay, check the road on the left, check the road on the right. Zebra crossing, scan the pedestrian crossing, pavement to pavement, there's no one. There's a stop sign here, so I'm braking gently, check the rear view mirrors, bring the car to a stop. Okay, we're clear left and right, clutch control, observe, release. Keep accelerating. Second gear. Third gear. Okay, this part we're coming up to is the last tricky area really that you might come past. There's a garage on the left hand side here, and you have a lot of taxis that usually stop to drop people off. So as you approach, go down to second gear for the speed hump. Make sure you check all the entrances and exits to the garage. Okay, no pedestrians here, that's fine. No vehicles on the road, can accelerate, check the road on the left, into third gear. And up ahead there's a speed hump, which is a zebra crossing as well. So we're going down to second gear. Check the road on the right. Okay, over the hump. And in case you are looking quite clearly in detail at this video, I'm not mentioning all the side entrances that you need to check. So please just remember, like this road now, check it now. And what you're looking for is to see if there's a car that's going to run into the road without stopping. So you have to check each and every road that enters from left to right, because that's worth 5 points on each side. Okay, now I'm observing here. Blind spot to the left. Okay, brake gently, put for the pedestrian, into second gear. Okay, keep your speed nice and low. Here it's a tight turn. Then you can start to accelerate. Then here we're going to accelerate all the way to 55 again. It's a long run to the traffic department. There's one stop between us. Here's a vehicle that's going to overtake right in front of us here. So make sure you're nicely to the left, early, so you don't swerve to the left. Position yourself in the left of your lane. There's a four-way stop coming up, and in anticipation to that, I'm already checking my rear view mirrors to see if there's any vehicle behind me that I need to deal with, and there's nothing at the moment, so I'm happy. I can brake in my own time and just aim to get my car to stop before the nose crosses the solid line. Okay, clutch in, squeeze the brake pedal, clutch control, and off we go. I didn't press the ratchet button on my handbrake there. Remember, your handbrake must be quiet when you pull it up. You must press that button, otherwise you're losing points every time it goes. Okay, here we've got a vehicle that's in our lane, but the lane is wide enough so I can squeeze in confidently here without crossing over to the other lane. Okay. And behind me I've got a polo that looks like it's a trailer that I'm towing. That's how close he is to me. So I know he's going to pass now. And there's a traffic circle in front of us. So always just check. Whenever you're heading towards an intersection, check to make sure no one's going to cut in front of you. And then you get a huge surprise while you're busy trying to deal with a traffic circle. Okay, I'm going down to first gear here because I can see there's a vehicle coming on the right, so I'm going to cross slowly towards the line. Okay, like it didn't even indicate. Okay, you have to clutch, accelerate nicely. I'm turning left. Make sure you don't touch any solid lines. Okay, now we're coming into the traffic department. It's your last turn, and you have to be really careful with this entrance. Indicate to the left. I'm in second gear. My foot is on the accelerator. Nothing on the clutch yet. Just gently on the accelerator. Come off the accelerator and brake. Look out for pedestrians here. Look to the left hand side to see if there's any car that's going to cross in front here, because you need to yield for them. Okay, and then I'm going to park over on this side. Right, so I hope that was nice and clear as to how to deal with traffic in Motherwell. The important thing here, just to recap, is to know and understand your clutch control, because there's a lot of inclines on this test, and then to be confident in how to crawl into an intersection where you've got to stop and it's busy and you need to look for your gap and then crawl into it. Handle traffic circles, and then also your pedestrian crossings. Make sure you scan well ahead before you get to them, and then keep a good following distance and look out for the taxis there. Okay, all the best for your test.